Halito everybody, this is CT over at the NYC Indian, and today we're going to be reviewing 90 Day Fiancé Never Have I Ever. This is going to be brought to you from an urban Native American perspective, a mixed perspective, and a secular perspective. So let's dive right in. So we start off the day with Kim and Usman, and he decides to take her to a place called Stone Town. He gives us all this historical background on the place, and they're sitting down and they're talking, and she basically, in no uncertain terms is basically saying like, where are the goods, okay? Because I paid my money, I flew, okay? And I mean, come on, enough already, I'm about to go home. He can totally see that, and he knows that she wants to be with him, and then she just tells him, listen, just come stay in my place, and your crew member or whatever can take your place. And I just thought to myself, like, the look on his face, he's not a good actor in that sense, you know what I'm saying? Or at least, you can tell he's not into her, right? I mean, he's very obvious with his face. And, she's like, oh, I'm not going to be begging you, it's not supposed to be like this. I did so much for you and everything. But, oh my goodness, this is like, he says it reminds him of his ex. And is there no other way to find a mate? I mean, this is just, oh my God, these two are so ridiculous. Jasmine and Geno. So Jasmine is in a great mood because she finds out her divorce is being finalized, and she just threw the roof. Her friends are going to be throwing her a party, a divorce party, and which, by the way, Geno, you're not invited to. And he helps her get ready. He looks like so sad and like a lost puppy. Like, you could tell he was really hurt that he's not invited. And they had it in the same hotel, well, not the hotel room, but in the same hotel building. And then her friends, they are having the party, they're drinking, having a good time. Next thing you know, of course, surprise, surprise, a stripper arrives, and he's dancing on her or whatever, and her friends are filming it, and then they decide to go back and see Geno. So when they get back to Geno's room, Geno's like, oh, okay, hey, all right, guys, I can party now, like at the end of the night. And then the friend shows Geno her phone, the video of the stripper, and oh my God, his little heart just dropped and was just crushed in that moment. But I'm thinking to myself, like, Geno, how do you not see that you were totally setting yourself up for failure with this one? I mean, come on. Like, all the signs being there and stuff, like, what would be so surprising that she's going to have a stripper at her party? I'm just not understanding what the big surprise is. But, yeah, he was really hurt and everything. And, yeah, he's, like, having second thoughts now because he's thinking, okay, what else is she lying to me about? And, now, like, with Strippergate, like, can I trust her and stuff? So, yeah, Geno's feeling the heat. So now we have Hamza in Memphis, and they need to go to the embassy. So, she's feeling frustrated because she knows that this embassy is 2 hours away, and that, they have to rely on someone else for a ride, and that more than likely they're not going to get there on time. And that's like her signal in her head going, hey, he's going to be a complete handful when he comes to the States, because if he can't even manage something as simple as arriving somewhere on time, what else am I going to have to do for him? So the friend drops them off, and they are about to go to get checked into their hotel. And I'm glad they actually showed this, because I was thinking to myself, like, what's the rules about like unmarried, co-ed sort of situation? And okay, so that's good. I'm glad they checked in and they were able to spend some time with one another. And of course he was on cloud 9 because he's like, oh, my mom's not around, we can spend time together. And of course, every other word out of her mouth is sexy time, so we already know, right? And they go to the hotel bar and they start drinking, and she's asking for like a little bit more in her drink. And this is like a fly on the wall. I like to see stuff like this because you get to see these like cultural exchanges, and the way the bartender and Hamza were like, oh my gosh, she wants more. Like, they can't believe it because, it's probably just not used to being around people who drink that much. And remember when that interviewer or the producer said, oh, so Hamza, do you drink or whatever? And like Memphis's reaction when he said, oh, just sometimes. See, I think Hamza basically, he's like a lot of people, right? He lives his life and he has his fun, but he does it under whatever rules that won't get him in too much trouble within the society that he lives in. But at the same time, he's meeting someone who's very liberated, a woman, an American woman at that. And he's just like, oh my gosh, he wants more liquor. He just seemed like really blown away. And did you see the bartender? Like, oh my God, like, like he almost wanted to clutch his own proverbial pearls. But yeah, so they start drinking or whatever. And then, they start talking. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst time to have a talk, okay? Especially, I'm sure he hasn't drank in a while. And if she hasn't been drinking, then maybe they're really feeling those drinks. They're probably like very tipsy at that point. And then, she starts talking about how she wants to make sure that, he's going to be doing everything he's supposed to be doing, because she was disappointed with some of the other things, his performance and stuff like that, in more ways than one. Okay. And, he starts to feel pressure, like, oh, you just want the marriage. You want the marriage. He said the mariage. Is that how they say it in Tunisia? It's so cool. I'm learning new stuff. He's like, no, you care about the mariage. And she's like, no, I want both. I want you and I want the marriage. But, at her age, I think she's just like, at that point, look, I know what I want. This is what I want. And I don't know. I don't think like how he could adjust to her independence and stuff like that. And plus he's still like a teenager himself. And that's what she's starting to pick up on too. So I don't know. So Ella and Johnny. Now, Ella's upset with Johnny because she feels like he's not giving her, definitive answers about coming, and he keeps postponing. So she decides to talk to her friend and her friend's husband about it. And the friend mentions maybe it has something to do, cultural stuff, like I was saying before, about them, maybe preferring he marry a Chinese girl or something. And, Ella, she decides to confront him the next time that they have a video call. And Johnny's still basically hemming and hawing. Okay, Johnny, I don't think Johnny's into it like that. I really don't. And I don't know if he's just like, at first he thought it was like a little bit of a game, or maybe if he could see that she was losing weight, maybe I'm just not exactly sure what's on his mind. But to me, that doesn't strike me. He doesn't strike me as someone who's like really into this woman, right? So now she's starting to, pick up finally on, some red flags and be like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is like the other guys, So I don't know. Is she going to exercise her sense? There's not much to say about Ben because, he had plans to go see Mahogany, but as soon as he gets to the airport, she blows him off. Some story about her dad or whatever. And he said that's not the first time that she's blown him off before. And I'm thinking, like, what would make a person get on a plane, like, for someone that they've never seen before, who's not even giving you any kind of good signals? Like, there's nothing reciprocated. It seems like he just sits there and just like throws Bible verses at her. And I mean, it's so weird in the 2 rooms, so I don't fornicate. I mean, I am not buying it. This is just such a weird story, okay? And then he's like, well, I'm gonna come. I'm just gonna get there. Like, are you like internationally stalking her? Like, what is this? This is like so uncomfortable. But anyway, we'll talk about them more once they actually like see each other on screen or something. I mean, what is there to talk? So now we have Mike and Ximena, and oh my God, oof, this one is gonna be a tough one to get through, okay? Like, she's looking like she's just trying not to vomit. She gets on the phone with her girl and starts basically spilling all the tea on his hygiene situations. The worst for me really was like the stinking underwear. Like that was just so nasty. You feel like you can smell that through the TV screen. It was gross. And listen, it's a little bit of a hustle, right? Let's be honest, this couple, come on. I mean, both parties could be both getting what they want, but it's a little bit of a hustle. And I think her radar is going off saying, I don't know if I can go this far for my hustle. And I mean, he seemed to be kind of contrite when she spoke to him about it, but how difficult and embarrassing is that to have a conversation with such limited language skills, using a language app to explain, like, basically, you're not washing your ass enough or something like that. Oh my God, that's so terrible. And You know, he seemed, like I say, he seemed to be like, okay, well, I'll do better and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm kind of with, you know, Ximena on this one. Like, I don't know, like that might just be too much, because think about it, that's like foundational, your hygiene practices and things like that. That's a really hard thing to try and change in a person. And most of the time you would be like turned off before you could even get a chance to change, if a person was willing to, you know. I mean, it's too late at that point. So I don't know. I don't know. It's, maybe he's willing to learn, you know, maybe he's open to it. I don't know, but she's just so completely turned off. There's just absolutely, like, whatever little bit that she could have had for like a little bit of spark for him, it's dead. It is absolutely dead. Who wants to be with somebody with nasty drawers in the bedroom on the floor? Is disgusting. Anyway, we'll see next week what goes on with these two. You guys think they're still gonna stay together? I don't know. We finish off the evening with Kim and Usman, and they're at their hotel. They partying away, saying goodnight. He gives her the pound, you know, good night, buddy. She's like, you know, fit to be tied at this point. She goes to her room completely frustrated, right? And 2 hours later, who knocks on the door? It's Usman. He's like, oh, can I come in? But the look on his face was like, can I come in? Like, how far am I willing to go for this hustle? Just what is my limit with this particular hustle, right? And he gets in. No sooner does he not take every pillow off of that bed, okay, and made that wall of demarcation. I said, you know what, that's it. I just can't. I mean, if it's a neon sign and the building is on fire and it's in your face, like, how much more can you ignore it, you know? And, you know, she's upset or whatever, but, you know, and then they say goodnight. And then, but it's like, this is like, I feel embarrassed. This is even hard to cover. Are you serious? 50 years old, come on. Get somebody that will love you and appreciate you. What do you do? This guy is a hustler. People like that, they make their living off of people like you. It's just terrible. It's a disgrace. But listen, anyway, I am done with these ridiculous situations. We will rejoin with one another next week. And everyone, please stay safe. Take care of yourself, and chipisa lacho.